Hey, I'm Casper, and today I'll talk a bit about my modular 3D printed wet palette. So yesterday I posted a picture to Reddit in the Printed Minis subreddit, and I showed off a picture of some of my 3D printed accessories for miniature painting. And one of the accessories is this, my wet palette. And I just wanted to show off a bit of the features. So first of all, you have a lid on the bottom. You can take off the lid. And in here you have the sponge I got from my local dollar store kind of, and I just cut it to fit inside. I couldn't find one without any texture, so it has these small bimbles textures, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. Also inside of this I modeled a brush holder, just a small compartment where I can put my brushes. The lid is held on by magnets, as you see here in the corners and in the middle. I heard that you couldn't use the wet palette for washes and other kinds of paints, so I thought I would have a dry palette as well. So I made that over here. I didn't know if it would be good to use a dry palette where you have the print lines. So first of all I used this plastic, it's called Polysmooth, and you can smooth it with isopropanol alcohol. Spray it on there and then it will like dissolve the surface and get more smooth. I also made an insert where it's just holes, and then you can have a piece of parchment paper under the bottom here. So this is also held in place by magnets. I actually ran out of magnets, so I only have 2 out of 4 holes filled here. But it's still very strong, so you see if I take it here, I can actually lift it just by this part, and it takes the full bottom with it as well. So if I shake it a lot, yeah, it falls off. But so with the 2 extra magnets or the 4 extra magnets, it will be very solid as well. So there is no chance that the top palette here will fall into your wet palette. Besides that, I thought that I would like to do something more modular, and maybe in the future be able to expand the whole concept. So I have magnets in the sides. So you can just move it like this. I also added a magnet here to the front if you want it in this kind of configuration. And again, it moves with it. And also to the other side as well. So I didn't add any magnets to the top here. And the reason I didn't do that was simply that I already have 92 magnets in one of these. And I thought it was a bit overkill already. So I'm planning to do a lot of other modular accessories to it, like a brush holder over to the side, or maybe even just a small cup holder over here for your cup of water to rinse your brushes as well. So I think I'll jump into Fusion 360 where I actually modeled the thing, and then I'll tell you a bit about the size and dimension of it, and also a bit of how I actually made it. Okay, so now we're in Fusion 360, and this is the model of the wet palette. So I put it in a glass texture here so you can actually see all the inserts. So along the sides, both on the top and the bottom, we have 11 magnet slots in each, and these are totally embedded in the center of the model. And the same thing on the other side as well. And then in the front here we have 5 on each side of the finger slot here in the middle. These are totally centered between the top and the bottom as well, and since the top, the lid and the bottom has the same height, they fit perfectly together. So here in the top we have the extra 4 magnet slots for the palettes, and we have the insert here. This is the one that you saw in the physical model that I actually printed. So we have all the indents, and you also have the finger slots to take out the palette as well. And then this was the second one, so if you don't have the plastic that you can smooth, then you can use this one, and you can just put in a piece of baking paper, parchment paper or something below here, and hopefully it will make a pretty good seal on the bottom. So the magnets that I use is a diameter of 5 and then a 2mm thickness, and they're all circular disc magnets basically. I also looked at some bigger magnets, but they were not really necessary. The slots here on the sides are all square, so that means that the circular disc magnet can actually rotate inside of the slot. There is also a bit of extra space basically, so they are free to rotate basically. So I have a Prusa 3D printer, the Mark III, and in the slicer you can go to a certain layer and you can insert a pause or a filament change basically. So what it will do, it will pause, take the hot end towards you and pull the bed back, and then it will eject the filament. So what I did here was basically just I made it eject the filament and just put in the same filament again, and then I put in all the magnets, of course. Okay, so I just changed back the material here to be the standard, so you can better see the contours of the model. And you see here in the lid I actually have an extra lip here that goes into the hole of the bottom. so it goes into this small edge here. So right now the fit is actually pretty loose. There's about 1 millimeter of space on each side all the way around, and that makes it so that you cannot have a tight fit basically. I just made this to be sure that it would fit together, because I don't really need the tight fit. On my one I don't feel like it dries out too quickly. I can put on the lid and I can wait 2 or 3 days and it will still be wet basically. So I will make a model soon where I have a more tight fit, and I will also try out making the top layers of both the bottom and the top as well in flexible like TPU material, and I hope the rubbery surface of that would actually make for a more tight fit as well. But right now I'm just waiting for some magnets. So as you see, there is a lot of lines in the sketch. So it is 200 millimeters on the short side, so this is that one. And then it is 230 millimeters on the long side. So you need to have a bit of a larger bed. So, but if a lot of people contact me about having issue printing in on their machines, then I might look into making a smaller version that fits on the standard 200 by 200 or something like that bed. So the hole for the sponge, or the wet part of the pallet, is actually 140 by 200 millimeters. And also the holes to put in the magnet here to keep the lid in place, they are 5.3, so you have 0.3 millimeters of tolerance basically around. And then when I extrude in the depth, I also made about 0.3 or 0.2 millimeters of extra space there as well, to make sure that a bit of warping would be acceptable and you could still actually put the magnets all the way in to the print. But thank you for watching, and in the description down below I'll have the link to the STL file so that you can actually print out this palette yourself. I'll also have a link to a few places where you could buy the magnets. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the comments. And also, if you have any ideas for upgrades, changes, or other modules that you can add to the part as well.